I have a cultivation world. 8 Chapter 8 Green Arrow Talisman _1. The celestial sect inherits many systems from the terrestrial planet civilization. For example, any medicinal pill put on the market must have all its ingredients clearly labeled on its packaging. In other words, the receipt for each pill sold must be included. However, if one wants to produce a finished product based on the formula mentioned above, that would be an implausible dream. The integration of modern pharmaceutical production in alchemy is so complex that it could not be explained in just a few days. Therefore, even though the pill formula is publicly available knowledge, the manufacture of medicinal pills remains a monopolized industry. However, every time a Taoist academy or institution devises a new medicinal pill, they have to invest immense resources. It's only reasonable for them to profit from it, otherwise, no one would want to venture into the pharmaceutical industry purely on the basis of the celestial sect subsidies. The Purple Fire pill from the Red Dawn Institution is specifically designed for cultivators striving to break through the middle stage of Qi cultivation. The success rate of breaking through from the 4th to the 5th level of Qi cultivation using the Purple Fire pill is approximately 60 to 70%. However, the success rate of breaking through from the 5th to the 6th level drops by more than half, only around 20 to 30%. Furthermore, if cultivators with a predominant water spirit root attribute consume it, the effectiveness is reduced by half, whereas cultivators with a predominant wood fire spirit root attribute could increase their success rate by 10%. Even so, the Purple Fire pill is one of the most popular medicines at this level of cultivation. Because it's mild in nature, the Red Dawn Institution has continuously improved its manufacturing process over centuries, perfecting it to the point where there's no side effect of essence toxicity. After consumption, you just need to nourish it for about 10 days to half a month using the common Qi nourishing technique to resolve the after effects of the enforced breakthrough. Chen Mobai is very fortunate. Because the Purple Fire pill uses the purple sunflower, unique to Red Sandstone City as the main ingredient, and since it contains a trace of Sun Fire Purple Qi, it yields twice the results with half the effort when nourishing with Water Spirit Qi. This water mansion is perfectly situated on top of an intermediate grade, rank 2 water vein, where the Water Spirit Qi is most concentrated. 2 days later, Chen Mobai opened his eyes with a look of delight. Feeling the spiritual power flowing smoothly within his body, he confirmed that his realm at the 5th level of Qi cultivation had fully stabilized. It took less time than he expected, only because he underestimated the power of the intermediate grade, rank 2 water vein spirit Qi. But it's not his fault, after all, he's just an ordinary kid who has never cultivated in spiritual lands of this caliber before. He then took out the box of glass beads he had purchased earlier. 1, 2, 3, until the 5th bead began to emit colorful light and slowly rose from his palm. Chen Mobai flashed a happy smile. Now, he might even reach the 6th level of Qi cultivation before his high school exam. He stood up and stretched. Chen Mobai began to inspect the water mansion again. As usual, there was no change at all. He also consulted Old Ding in these 2 days, making up an excuse that his tutor saw his rapid progress and raised the difficulty of his assignments, hence presenting this complex prohibition as a major problem. Thinking his guidance was highly useful to Chen Mobai, Old Ding felt immensely gratified. After carefully inquiring about the characteristics of the complex prohibition and combining them with his teaching experience, Ding gave 2 methods of resolution. The first one was similar to what Chen Mobai thought, to use a powerful prohibition-breaking talisman and blast it on the weakest point of the prohibition to destroy it. The second one was to outsmart the tricks. Although the complex prohibition is strong, it's a combination of several spells intricately linked together. By breaking just one, the rest, even if not destroyed, will falter due to the absence of one spell. If the person setting up the prohibition is mediocre, the remaining spells might even conflict with each other due to the removal of one spell and self-destruct. Proud as he was, Old Ding presented the second solution to Chen Mobai. You need a magic artifact capable of severing the spirit Qi supply of the Water Mansion's spirit vein until the complex prohibition reveals itself, and then use the corresponding method to break them one by one. But Chen Mobai was penniless. His only magical artifact was the child version of the exorcism sword hanging in his room. As a lower grade, rank 1 ornamental artifact, it barely qualified as a magic artifact because it was under the bright light technique. He checked out the celestial web trading market, only to find that the cheapest magic artifact that met his requirements was worth 500 good deed points. He could only resort to the first method of solution. Chen Mobai took out 3 talismans featuring green arrows from his pocket with a pained expression. This is the intermediate rank 1 green arrow talisman, each worth 35 good deed points. After consulting with Old Ding for 2 days, Chen Mobai learned that the best way to break an unfamiliar water attribute prohibition was to use wood attribute spells or talisman artifacts. Attacking water with fire is of course the most effective. But if the hidden power of the water attribute prohibition far exceeds the previous estimate, the intense reaction between water and fire spirit power could harm the prohibition breaker, possibly resulting in on-the-spot death. Wood also overcomes water, and the stimulation of water spirit power isn't as intense as fire spirit power, so even if the prohibition's power is extraordinary, the aftermath won't be too harsh. The power of this green arrow talisman is similar to the water sword talisman that Chen Mobai added to his shopping cart previously. Once the water sword talisman is deployed, it forms a transparent water longsword that can be controlled and dispensed freely, and can last up to 15 minutes. Whereas, once the green arrow talisman is released, it forms green arrows based on the manipulator's cultivation level, up to 6 arrows at once. Chen Mobai, at the 5th level of Qi cultivation, would be able to form 5 long arrows. Even though it's a bit wasteful, he has no other choice. This is the best talisman for breaking the prohibition. In order to succeed in one shot, Chen Mobai spent all his savings and even sold all the blank talismans he cut and accumulated in his spare time to barely scrape up the good deed points needed to buy these 3 green arrow talisman. If there's nothing valuable inside after breaking the prohibition, I'm going to take a big loss, Chen Mobai muttered to himself, gathering his internal spiritual power. He even took out his wood armor talisman, infused it with spiritual power and activated it in case of any accidents during the prohibition breaking process that might cause a backlash. Whoosh! Just then, the sound of turbulent water echoed. With unbelieving wide eyes, Chen Mobai saw 2 shadows drop from the glowing sphere enveloping the entire water mansion as a hole opened in it. One old, one young. The older one had gray hair, holding a black flag, with sharp eyes. The younger one seemed ordinary, dressed in a brown long robe. As soon as he landed, he immediately maintained a 2-meter distance from the elderly. The two formed a triangle with Chen Mobai, who was standing in the main hall, occasionally glancing at each other.